Hi everyone, thank you for coming to the video. So we're doing hip openers. So this is about the 10th time I've had to film this. I'm not having any luck with technology this week, so I'm getting this done up a bit later than I'd like, so you know, fingers crossed this one works. So hip openers have some really good benefits. So again, similar to the last video, they're really good for releasing tension and stress, because as I said in the last video, we tend to hold that in the hips, and stretching and strengthening that muscle is a really good way to relieve that tension. It's also a very good way to improve range of motion, circulation, and strengthening and stretching those muscles can also help to relieve lower back pain. So there's quite a lot of benefits there. So let's get started. So we're going to start off in an extended child's pose. So coming on all fours, bring the hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, bring the toes together, knees as wide as the mat, sit back on your heels, walk the hands out and bring the chest and the heart and the head down to the mat. Take a moment here just to arrive. Pay attention to how you're feeling. Slowing the breath down. Deepening the breath. Relaxing back. Letting go of any tension. And slowly we're going to come back up. So claw through the fingertips to pull yourself back up onto all fours. Keep the toes together and the knees out wide, and bring the hands underneath the shoulders. From here we're going to lower the elbows down exactly where the hands are. So if you're not sure you've got your elbows in the right place, a way to double check this is to see if you can grab opposite elbows. And if you can, you've got your elbows in the right place. If not, then adjust them and then bring the arms out parallel. Now we're going to come into a frog pose. This is quite a deep hip stretch. We're coming straight into it. So from here, we're just going to pull the feet apart. So you're coming onto the knees. So you might need a bit extra support under the knees here. And then just come onto the insides of the knees so you feel that in the hips. So I'm just going to turn around so you can get a better view. So, feet out on the insides of the feet, insides of the knees. Send them out a little bit wider. Arms parallel. Don't sink into the shoulders. See if you can keep yourself pushed up. Engage the shoulder girdle. So again, so like I said, you might need a blanket or a cushion underneath your knees here for a bit of support. And if you feel like there's too much pressure on the hips, just sit back slightly or come forward slightly. Whichever, try both, see whichever one feels better for you. Everybody's different. So hold that there. We're going to breathe through it. So you should also be feeling this in the upper arms and the shoulders, across the shoulder girdle. So again, as I said, not sinking down. Push up, And keep the neck nice and long. The neck and the head should be an extension of the spine, just looking down towards the hands. Deepen the breath. Few more breaths, keep going, you can do it. Let go of any tension on an exhale. Don't forget to breathe. Smile through it. And we're slowly going to come out of this posture. So to come out of the posture, come back up onto your hands and slowly walk the knees underneath the hips, bringing them together. And we're going to sit back into a child's pose again, bringing the head down. Take a few moments. Okay, claw through the fingertips. Come up onto all fours. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. So this next one can be a little bit tricky, especially in the knees. So if you need to, get a block, cushion or a blanket ready to sit up on. So from here we're going to cross, so we're going to bring the left knee to the centre midline of the mat. I'll just turn around actually again. Don't know if you can see or not. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. So left knee to the midline, right knee or right foot, cross it over so that we've got one knee stacked, I'll come up stacked in front of the other. And then so bring the hands back down. We're just going to bring the feet out a little bit and slowly sit down in between the feet so that you've got one knee stacked on top of the other. So again, the further the feet are away from you, the deeper the stretch, the closer, the easier the stretch. So again, this is a difficult one. This can be tricky on the knees. So if you are feeling it in your knees, just prop yourself up to elevate the hips, and that'll take a bit of pressure off. So from here, so again, if you want to take it further, you can bring the feet out, and you can also take a forward fold over the knees. That'll deepen the stretch slightly. Breathing through it. And walk the hands over to the right. And come all the way back through centre. Take it over to the left. Come back through the centre. And slowly walk the hands back up. And unravel the knees. Before we take it to the other side, Bring the hands behind you, knees out in front, and just gently windshield wiper the legs from side to side. And find some stillness. And we'll take that over to the other side. Making your way onto all fours. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. So this time the left foot is coming across, sorry, the left knee is coming across the right knee. So bringing the right knee into a centre midline. Cross that left knee over. So that should bring you with one knee in front of the other. Bring the feet out a little bit and slowly sit back. So, don't worry if you haven't got it perfect. I don't have one knee stacked directly on top of the other. So as long as you can feel that stretch, the outside of that hip, down the hamstrings, then you're feeling it in the right place. So again, further the feet are away from you, the deeper that stretch. Choose your variation. And again, if you need to prop yourself up on a cushion, please do. That'll release the pressure in the knees. So from here you can take a forward fold, or if that is too much, you can just sit here if that's enough for you. But if you're in the forward fold, let go of any tension in the hips, in the shoulders. Release them down. Don't forget to breathe. So you might find it really difficult to take a forward fold over your knees. If that is the case, then just sit up or just lean forward until you feel a deeper stretch. So it's really you finding what feels right for you. That's what yoga's about. So breathe through it. Walk the hands over to the right. Nice slow deep breaths. And walk back through to centre. Take it over to the other side. Walk it all the way over to the left. Breathe. And again, if you are finding it hard to forward fold, just twist yourself to the side and lean forwards. And slowly come back to centre. Walk the hands back up and unravel the legs. And bring the hands behind you. Gently windshield wiper the legs from side to side. And from here, make your way into all fours again. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Sorry if you can hear that, there's a cat playing with something. I don't know if the camera's picking that noise up, but it's the cat. So, hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath hips. Turn the toes under, and we're going to peel up into a downward dog, pedaling the feet. Find some stillness. Feet should be about hip width apart. From here, we're going to bring the right foot forwards. So do it in whatever way it feels right for you. So it can be done in one step, but a lot of people find that a little bit more difficult. So if that's not something that's available to you, just take as many steps as you like. Bringing that left foot back, lowering that back knee. Now then, from here, walk the right foot out to the edge of the mat, bringing the hands on the inside of that foot. Lengthening that back leg away. Try not to have the knee under the hip. Don't want to be here. You want to be here. So this is a deep hip stretch. This is lizard pose. So there's a few variations here again. So if you feel that stretch and that's enough for you, stay here. If you want to take it further, you can bend the elbows, bringing them either to the mat or to a cushion, or if you've got a book, or both, to deepen that stretch. You can also lift that back knee. If you lift that back knee, really make sure that leg is strong and engaged and you're spiking that back heel away from you. So choose your variation. And breathe through it. This is quite a deep hip stretch. You need to. So keep your attention on the breath. Maybe counting the beats of the inhales and the exhales. Exactly like I said in the last video if you watched it. Maybe taking the tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth. Holding the breath at the peak of the inhale. Then exhaling. Breathe through it. And the shoulders down, release any tension on an exhale. Keeping the neck nice and long. The head and the neck should be a nice extension of the spine. Few more breaths, nearly done. And to come out of the pose, lean back slightly, walk that foot back to centre, frame the foot with the hands, step back coming onto your knees, and sit back into a child's pose, sending the hands out and the head down. Taking a moment here just to breathe. Clawing through the fingertips, bring yourself back up onto all fours. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Turn the toes under, send it up into downward dog. When you're ready, we're going to bring that left foot forwards. So as many steps as you need to take. Lowering that back knee down, lengthening that right knee back. Just to move a bit further up the mat. So again, bringing the hands to the inside of that foot. Walk the foot out to the edge of the mat or towel or blanket, whatever you're on. And again, if this does bother the knees, then you can bring your blanket, your cushion underneath that back knee. So again, rolling the shoulders back and down, choose your variation. So you can lift that back knee. Remember to keep that back leg nice and strong. All the muscles engaged, spiking that back heel away from you, towards the back of the room rather. You can keep that down. You can also lower the elbows down to the mat or the block or cushion. Another one I forgot to mention on the other leg is you could also walk the hands out to the side where it becomes a wandering lizard pose. or a wandering dragon pose. If you've walked your hands up to the side, you can also lower your elbows here as well. So choose your variation, whatever feels right for you. If that is really too painful and too much on the hips, you can just gently send the hips back a little. Breathing through it. And to come out of this posture, sit back slightly, walk that foot to the centre and bring it back. Sit back onto the heels, bring the arms out, head down. Breathe. Let go of any tension. Okay, crawling through the fingertips, back up onto all fours, hands underneath the knees, knees underneath, hands underneath the shoulders, not underneath the knees, you can try that if you like. Knees underneath the hips, hands underneath the shoulders. And we're going to come up into a downward dog. And again, ignore the cat cries if you heard that. Turning the toes under. Send it up into downward dog. We're coming into our last deep hip stretch. So bringing the right foot forwards. Again, take as many steps as you need. Lower that back foot down. Again, if you need the cushion underneath that back knee, then do so. From here, I'll just turn around actually, just so you can see what I'm doing. So lengthening that back leg away, so you're in a lower lunge pose. And then from here, we're going to walk the right foot over to the left hand. So once you're here, start to bring that heel in a little bit closer to you. And then let the knee come down. From here, you're going to lengthen that back leg away from you a little bit further. So lowering the hips towards the mat. So you're here. So if you are quite tight in the hips, chances are you've got that leg underneath and you're about here, which is slightly or very uncomfortable. So try not to sit up on that leg. Try to bring that leg out in front so that you're here. And grab a big cushion or roll a blanket up, use a book, use a couple of books. Bring that underneath the right hip. And that will help you square the hips and keep them level, which is important in this pose. So from here, if you're here and it feels fine, it's not too much of a deep stretch for you, then you can pull that heel further away from you, just like in the shoelace pose where the knees were stacked up on top of the other. It's exactly the same. The closer the heel is to you, the easier the stretch. So to deepen that stretch, pull that heel away from you, or to make it easier, try to get it a bit closer. And then again from here, you can lower the elbows down or stretch the arms out in front, bringing the forehead down. So choose your variation. And breathe through it. We won't be here for long. So this is also a really good stretch if you tend to do squats in your workouts. Sometimes you can build up a bit of tension in the hips and in the glutes doing squats, and you get a little knot in the muscles. So this is a really good stretch that works out any knots in the glutes. So you should be feeling this around here, all the way down that leg. Again, if you're on your elbows like I am, try not to collapse forwards. Try to keep yourself pushed up, engage in the shoulder girdle, rather. Deepen in the breath. We'll start thinking about coming out of this pose. We're going to slowly push the hands up and walk them in. Turn the toes under on that back leg and lift that back knee. Step back into a downward dog and pedal the feet. And taking it to the other side when you're ready, stepping that left foot forwards. Lowering the back foot down and lengthening that leg away from you. Walking that left foot over to the right this time. And again, pull the heel in, let the knee come down, lengthen that leg a little bit further away. So here, so again, you might be stuck here. Bring your blanket or your block or anything that will prop you up, doesn't matter what it is, so long as it levels and squares out those hips. And again, if you want a deeper stretch, pull that foot a little bit further forwards away from you, and you can lower the elbows down, send the arms out long, bringing the head down, whichever feels right for you. Breathing into the hips, letting go of any tension on those exhales. Try to keep control of the breath, keep it nice and slow. Few more breaths. Breathe through it, shoulders down. And thinking about coming out of that stretch. Walk the hands back up, bring yourself up. Lift that back knee. Step back to downward dog. Pedal the feet. And find some stillness. Come up onto the tiptoes. Lower the knees down. And we're going to make our way so that you're lying on your back. Bring in the soles of the feet together and the knees out wide. So if this is uncomfortable for you, again, grab a cushion or a blanket or both. You probably need two of each or one of each. Bring in one under that side and the other one under that side, just for a bit of support. But that's only if that feels really uncomfortable. Otherwise, walk the shoulder blades together and down. Hands down by your sides, palms facing the ceiling. We'll just take a few breaths here. And take the deepest breath that you've taken all day and hold the breath at the peak of the inhale. And exhale, let everything go. And you can stay here, or you can straighten out the legs long, coming into Shavasana. Letting the eyes close if they haven't already. Soften through the jaw. Relax the muscles in the face. and allow the body to feel heavy and sink into the mat. Allowing yourself these few moments of stillness. You've got absolutely nothing to do and nowhere to be. Slowly bringing the hands together. Bring the thumbs up to that third eye chakra. Namaste. Thank you for joining.